All right, hello there. Thanks for tuning in to this episode 1 of our NBA on CCS. We're going to be previewing the NBA today. I'm Carter Furr, alongside me,
Ben Parsons.
And so, Ben, the main headline from this past offseason, a crazy offseason that we had, was all the player movement, the trades, free agency signings all around the league. Of course, everyone is shuffling, as they've been doing for the last 3 years, trying to catch the Warriors.
Yeah, everybody's attempting to catch the Warriors right now. You see it in OKC. That's the most recent super team that has just formed in the last couple of days. And Russell Westbrook just signed a big contract with something crazy like 215, I don't remember, $1 million. So they finally got him to sign on the dotted line after bringing in Melo. But there's teams like OKC, there's teams like Houston, there's teams like the Spurs, there's teams like the Timberwolves, and the Cavs made big offseason moves too this summer. They're in the headlines a lot for a team that easily won their conference. And I mean, also there's the Celtics, so there's a lot of things. But speaking about OKC, what do you think about that new roster there?
OKC, right. Well, we just saw actually a couple hours ago, filming this on Friday, that Russell Westbrook did re-sign for 5 years, $205 million guaranteed, 205. Of course, today is Kevin Durant's birthday. Throwing subtle shade, maybe.
Maybe.
Obviously, that locks him up for the next 5 years. And
sorry, Laker fans.
Exactly. And to me, him signing that extension when there was a lot of questioning amongst the OKC fan base, he's showing me there that he's committed to that team, that he thinks they have a winning core with obviously Melo and PG-13, but also Steven Adams, Andre Roberson, all the guys on that team. He thinks that he can be there and be successful for the rest of his career. Because I think with the state of the NBA today, if you don't like the team that you have, it's all right to leave.
Yeah.
We saw it with LeBron. We've seen it with KD, PG-13 just this summer. We saw it with KD last summer.
Exactly.
And I think that Russell Westbrook, if he didn't think his team was going to be good for the next several years going forward, he would have gotten out of there next summer when he would have been a free agent.
Yeah, definitely OKC is a team to be reckoned with this year. They have the likes of Steven Adams, who's still pretty good. People sleep on him. Roberson's pretty good. Their bench is their weakest part right now because they traded away key players like Doug McDermott. Do they still have Taj Gibson? I don't know. They might.
No,
still
they don't.
Oh no, they don't.
He went to Minnesota.
He did go to Minnesota. That's another team that I want to talk about. Oh my gosh, Minnesota. But let's go straight to Houston though. That's another big team. How do you think the Chris Paul and James Harden, two guys who love the ball in their hands, are going to work together?
Right, exactly. That's a good question. We saw Harden play at the shooting guard. He was the sixth man, came in at shooting guard in Oklahoma City, and then he came to Houston. It was his team. He's been running from the shooting guard. Last year, he got with Mike D'Antoni, and Mike D'Antoni said, all right, we're going to take it back to 06, just like we did with the Phoenix Suns, scoring the ball every 7 seconds.
Yep.
I'm going to put the ball in your hands. You're going to be the point guard of the future. And
it worked, to be honest. The only time it didn't work was when he ran out of gas in the playoffs.
You're exactly right. He had a career season, led the league in assists from that point guard role, and now the coach in the front office turns around and says, hey, we're going to bring in the prototypical point guard, Chris Paul, of our generation. So I don't know. I think maybe it'll be more fun for him to work with a true ball distributor.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley was his point guard in
not
years
the best.
before.
I mean, Beverley was pretty good, but he's not the best distributor. He could drive to the basket, finish layups, stuff like that. But I think that brings up a point. Maybe he can relax a bit and go back to that shooting guard position. And Chris Paul is going to be great. He's always great. Maybe this is a time that Chris Paul can finally make a jump and make it out of the second round of the playoffs because he's been so close. He's one of the best point guards ever, but he just hasn't been able to make the championship or even the conference finals.
Right, exactly.
And for me, the big question is, do they have a bench? Because they traded away their whole bench.
That's what I was going to say. That's the X factor. You never know. They've got Clint Capella has showed, especially last year, in the last couple of years, really. He came out, not this past season, but the playoffs before. That was his coming out party, I think. But he's shown that he can be good. So the bench looks like Nene was the key re-signing for them at the center position.
Yeah.
They've got Eric Gordon, Demetrius Jackson, Trevor Ariza. They've got a bunch of guys, I think, that can be role players. For me, it's going to be beyond that, the 9th, 10th guys, because we've seen that they move the ball fast, they run fast, and we did just see them run out of steam last year. So, yeah.
Yeah, and also going down the list here, we do have the Spurs. The Spurs are always going to be great. For me, it's about, is Kawhi going to take even the next step? Next step up. I love Kawhi. He's fantastic. He works his butt off. He does everything you want. He's the type of guy that everybody said that he cannot do this or he cannot do that, and each time he's stepped it up and done it. So it's really his team. They added, I think, Rudy Gay this offseason. That'll be interesting to see how he fits in, and we're going to see whether or not they're going to keep LaMarcus Aldridge. He's not happy there. And he wasn't happy in Portland either, but he's definitely not happy in San Antonio. So it's really going to be, that's the storylines for those teams. We're going to let our people for the Western Conference get more in depth on the Spurs. But another team that made big headlines this offseason is the Timberwolves. They had a huge draft day. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked, honestly. I didn't think Jimmy Butler was going to move anywhere. I thought maybe he would head out in free agency soon. I think he was going to be a free agent not next summer, but the summer before. So I thought he was going to get out of town there. But I liked it by the Timberwolves. It showed that they have confidence in, one, their coach, Tom Thibodeau, who I really like. It showed that they are moving forward. They're really excited about the core. They love the duo of Towns and Wiggins, and 2 Rookie of the Years, formerly. And they want to be aggressive with the roster they have now. So I really liked that move. I think Jimmy Butler has improved every year he's been in the league, and he's primed for first, second team All-NBA season.
Just talk about that defense, though, that they're going to have with those 3 guys. All 3 of those guys can play defense, with Towns guarding the rim and with Butler, who's arguably the best defensive small forward in the league, or wherever you're going to plug him in that system. Now, we can't not talk about the Cavaliers and the Celtics. The Cavaliers were heavily in the news this offseason, even though they had a phenomenal year. They just weren't good enough to beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals. So it started off with David Griffin getting canned. What did you think of that?
I thought that was weird. You know, it was a little bit like David Blatt, their coach last year, getting fired amidst all the success they'd been having. It's like they're still worried about not being successful enough. They've got their minds totally dominated by the Warriors. They can win, 60 games in a season and still fire their head coach. It shows that they really are striving for the next level. So they brought in Kobe Altman at GM. I like that move.
Not Chauncey Billups. That was the big thing. Everybody thought it was going to be Chauncey.
Right, the Cavs thought it was going to be Chauncey. They thought they had him locked up, but he chose the big 3 over the Cavs. The 3v3 league. But I don't know. And then, of course, the next story was the Kyrie-LeBron split. There was a lot of drama over that. What do you think about that?
I mean, for me, it's definitely worth talking about. I don't understand why you'd want to leave if you're Kyrie. I mean, sure, you're moving. I mean, people are mad at him too because he now just moved to the Celtics, but it wasn't out of free choice. So, I mean, I'm just saying Kyrie's going to do well in Boston. I just don't think he's going to do nearly as well as he could have on the roster that he was in Cleveland. But there could have been disputes between Kyrie and LeBron. We don't know. But that we're going to move on for that because we've talked a lot about that on Spurs Up and other shows. So the thing for me is the Cavs have so many additions. You now got D-Wade and LeBron are back together. That's going to be cool. You got Isaiah Thomas maybe eventually in early January, maybe, whenever he gets healthy. You got Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose, all guys. Oh, and I forgot one. And Jeff Green. All of these guys have a lot of experience, and they all are very good at different things. So I think it's really what they just did is they made their bench really good, and that's what they have to do if they want to keep track or get up to the par of the Golden State Warriors.
I think you're right. Another signing they had, an off-season acquisition that flew under the radar, I think, for a lot of people was Jose Calderon. I really like that signing. I think he can be, in that 18, 20 minute per game window range. I think he can be effective. He can move the ball. He can be the backup point guard they were looking for that they didn't really get in Deron Williams last year. I think they'll be pleased with that signing. Here's an interesting stat that I came across. Obviously, they grabbed D. Rose as well. An interesting stat that I came across of scorers in the NBA, active players who have averaged 25 points a game in a season, there are 20 of those players in the NBA. The Cavaliers have 25% of them. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose, and Kevin Love.
Oh my gosh. I mean, just think about the roster that they have. Think about the roster that Golden State has. That's really like, we see it every day and it's very prevalent in this league, but like you see that those 2 teams are just so much above everybody else, and you see all these teams trying to catch up to them, but it makes this big disparity in the league. We didn't even get that much into the Celtics, but we'll let our Eastern Conference guys go more into that roster. But really what this season's all about is that those 2 teams, the Cavs and the Warriors, are still the top-notch teams. We're going to see who's going to have to catch up to both of them.
Absolutely right. So now we're going to send it over to Connor and Terry, who are going to take you through the Eastern Conference, give us their preview of that section, and then we'll see you back here.